Okay, y'all. I'm gonna try this again. I'm not gonna be on long, but I just got finished watching the R. Kelly thing. And I'm just gonna say this. I thought the first part was bad because we actually got a chance to hear the individual stories of these different women, their alleged stories. But for me, this part was a lot worse because when they first started off talking about, you know, his background and everything that happened with him when he was younger, I don't think they did it for sympathy. I think they did it to let us know what he had gone through and how some incest survivors, they're advocates for kids. They do everything to protect kids because of what they went through. And they were trying to show how then there's this other element of kids that went through, abuse when they were younger, sexual abuse, that grow up and become the abuser. I don't think they did it for sympathy. I think they started it off to do it from that vantage point. But y'all, the more that I watched this, the more I was like, I just cannot believe all of this stuff. It's so many girls and so many stories and so many inner stories and so much manipulation. I don't even know how this man had time to actually make music. Well, I guess because he was doing it in the studio. I guess that answers it all. But y'all, there's going to be a couple of things that I'm gonna hit on, and then I gotta go to bed because after watching this, I felt like I wanted to throw up. The one thing that struck me is when the one brother that he was trying to get to cop for that one charge when he peed on that little girl and peed all in her mouth, and he wanted that one brother, he called him to the house and he wanted him to say that he did it. Now, to show you that he don't care about nobody but himself, and that was so evident because I think at that point that brother should have known, man, he don't care about you. He was talking about giving him a car, and now I'll give you a recording deal. Then another thing that got me, now this is the part, y'all, that I think I understood, but I asked the people that we were chatting about this on Facebook while it was going on, did I hear this correctly? Now, the girl that he peed on, from what that white reporter said, still during the trial was at his house, and she was one of the girls that was living in the garage. Y'all, he even had bitches in the garage. Come on now. Did y'all hear that part when they said, "Oh yeah, that it was two girls living in the garage that we weren't supposed to talk to." I was like, "Wait, what? What now? Living in the garage?" And then the first girl that he got pregnant, and when she told him, he basically told her, "Bitch, you ain't pregnant." Do you hear what I'm saying, y'all? I don't know how those people that are still defending him are defending him. But think about something else that his brother said. In some of those videos, there are some white girls. Now, let me just back up on everything. If it would have come out back in the 90s, and I want to talk about the Aaliyah stuff too, but if it would have came out back in the 90s that on some of those tapes it was white girls, that shit would have stopped back then. And then going back to the Aaliyah part, you remember when the one girl said that she was glad that Aaliyah came into the picture because that meant that now she didn't have to have sex with him. It was Aaliyah. Now, remember when Damon, the guy, was talking and there was a dispute about Aaliyah's age. What I read about Aaliyah is that Aaliyah went to him when she was 13. But when I watched tonight, from what I'm understanding, they were saying that he started having sex with Aaliyah when she was 13, y'all. Did I hear that right? So by the time that Aaliyah was 15, basically, Aaliyah experienced everything that these other girls experienced. She wasn't just married. If he had started with her since she was 13, then by the time she was 15 and that marriage came about, he had already groomed her and scared her not to, to say anything. And that's why the marriage came about. But to think that Aaliyah was 13, y'all, oh my God. And then the parents of the girl that he gave herpes and that whole thing with the premiere and them calling that girl. I'm gonna tell you one thing. There are some of the parents that just was plain stupid. Now I blame them for their stupidity, but I don't place the 100% blame on them because ultimately, R. Kelly is the one that raped and their daughters. I blame them for thinking that their daughter was going to be that one he wasn't going to mess with because of who she was or how she could sing. Y'all, everybody in this, anybody who had anything to do with him should be in trouble. And Lord, y'all, I can't. When them white women was on there talking, I said, Harpo, who these white women? Because basically, y'all get what they were saying. To them, there was no rape. There was consenting sexual intercourse. Basically, they saying even though our girls are underage, and them bitches knew that them girls was under 18, but the fact that they felt that it was consent and it was okay. And y'all, another thing that I wanted to talk about before I get out of here, I keep seeing when the R. Kelly stuff come up, they say, what about Harvey Weinstein? What about this? What about that? I'm with them on that. I totally agree. Everybody that's dealing in any type of things against women should be brought to to um to justice, whatever. But it's one story that when they keep bringing it up, I had asked my mother about, and it was the Elvis thing because I was like, okay, now I know Elvis got Priscilla when she was 14. But my mother said that there was never no scandal with Elvis being with repeated young women. She said basically Elvis was, how did my mother put it? My mother said Elvis was the male Jennifer Lopez of his time. She said every young I guess white star, movie star or whatever singer back then, that Elvis was so busy dating all those young starlets. She said she never heard, the only person that she ever heard that was underage was Priscilla. Now here's the difference between Elvis and R. Kelly. Okay, Elvis did mess around. I believe Priscilla was between the ages of 14 and 16. Her parents flew that bitch out there to him because she wanted to go. He ended up marrying her though, having a baby by her, spent years with her. R. Kelly was, and another reason why I don't want to throw Elvis in it, Elvis wasn't messing with black girls. The reason why R. Kelly make me almost throw up because the people that he are messing with look like us, y'all. They look like my daughter. They look like my little cousins. And the thing, I get so mad when they're blaming these 13 and 14 and 15-year-old girls because y'all, let me tell y'all, when I was their age, specifically 15, I was into Michael Jackson and Prince. Those were the two little big time stars that were out when I was their age. If Michael Jackson or Prince would have showed some interest in me when I went to a concert of theirs, asked me to come backstage, asked me to come to their hotel room, I can't say at the age that I am now, 54, now that I'm older and know better, I wouldn't have done it. But at 13, 14, and 15, for a mega superstar like a Michael Jackson, like a Prince, to show interest in me, I think it would have swayed me too. I think it would have had me lying to my parents. Oh, yeah, I'm going to spend a night over my best friend's house, yet I'm downtown trying to catch the bus down there to go see a Michael Jackson or a Prince. When you 13, 14, and 15, you don't be thinking like that. Y'all remember when y'all was younger and whoever, what little star or singer that you like when you were that age, if them people would have picked you out of a whole crowd in a stadium, giving you their personal information, invited you back to party with them, ain't no way in the world you would have been like, oh no. We would have done it because we didn't think like we think now. All we knew is this was our favorite singer, and they are showing the interest in us. His fame is what kept him out of jail. His fame is what helped him get these little girls. The thrill of it, it was everything. His money, the fame, the close proximity to him, the being flown all over the country, backstage passes, wine and dine, the glitz and the glamour. And I'm also glad that they brought up that a lot of these girls were from the hood. They weren't used to that. So to be invited into that world made them vulnerable. But I'm gonna tell y'all, this R. Kelly, when they talked about him calling that, what was it, a minister, the female preacher or whatever, and he was pointing to the wall saying that this R. Kelly is dangerous and just all of it, y'all. He's sick. He's a sick fucking individual. And I think a lot of people is so enchanted by his music that they forget that he's just a mere mortal like we are. He a broken man that been, and I'm gonna just keep it real, y'all, fucking over our daughters, nieces, cousins, aunts, and uncles for the last almost 30 years. And we keep excusing him and talking about, well, what about this person? And oh, the parents is wrong. Y'all, it ain't just the parents. R. Kelly is wrong. When y'all, back in the day when that tape came out with the little girl that he had sex with, I had heard that he peed on the little girl, but I didn't know he peed in that little girl's mouth. She was 12 years old. I don't care what Becky, the one that was sitting on there, talk about the girl was 21. That's a damn lie. That girl was 12 years old. And then did y'all hear that during that trial that there were actually four other girls that were supposed to go into court with that 12-year-old to help with, they were going to go in with their stories, which would help bolster, I guess, the story of the 12-year-old. But all them other girls were thrown out. He got that white lawyer to give them polygraphs to make sure that the story that they were telling was true. Once they passed the polygraph saying, yes, he messed with me when I was 14, 13, then they were paying them off and making them sign, them do not, them y'all, I can't even talk. This is too much because I think about myself at 13, 14, 15, 16. I did some silly, reckless shit at those ages that when I think back now, y'all, this is why we preach at our daughters, because we know that when we were their age, we were doing reckless stuff that when we look back now, we be like, ooh, child, I could have got killed, getting involved in that, or I could have lost my life going over here. Why was I so, you know, courageous and not thinking anything could happen to me? A lot of these little girls, like that person said, came from troubled homes. They were running from something. There was abuse in their home, neglect in their home, poverty in their home. And basically, he flashed all this glitter and fame. And remember when the one girl said that he could spot a weak, a weak young girl. Now imagine they already coming from where they from confusion in their family. So he could look through the little crowd and find the very weakest one, and he knew which ones to pick that would stay away for 2-3 months. See, also too to show you that the home lives that they were coming from, because I was thinking about myself at 15. Just place me at 15. My mother did not give me a curfew. Let me tell you what my mother used to tell us. When I used to ask my mother what time did I need to be in, my mother would simply say, "Your ass is gonna tell you when you need to get in." I used to say, "What do that mean?" She said, "Your ass is gonna feel this feeling when it's nearing the time that it should be in the house, and it's gonna run you here." See, if I would have stayed out, say when I was 15, my curfew was 11. If I would have stayed out to 11, my mother would have had probably the National Guard looking for me. It wouldn't have went unnoticed where I could stay away for, forget 2 or 3 days. I wouldn't have been able to stay away overnight, because see, my mother was the type of mother, and my parents was the type of parents that would come somewhere, clown me, clown him. They wouldn't have let it go, to show you that the homes that those girls came from was broken. When they were saying 15, 16, 7-year-old 17-year-old girls was away from home for 2 and 3 months, y'all remember when y'all was 15, 16, and 17? We didn't come from the types of homes where if you missing for 2, 3 months, it's okay, or they really ain't looking for you. That shows you that these girls were coming for trouble shit, and that's how they ended up in that trouble shit. Now some of the women that he got, they knew about Aaliyah. And I kind of got to side eye them, because anybody who's over a certain age knew about the sex tape that he peed on the little girl with when she was 12, and then they knew about Aaliyah. So where I can give anybody under 18, because half of them weren't even born 30 years ago, I could give them a pass. Some of those women, the grown ones, I can't give a pass, because have y'all ever went out with a guy and you might have been talking with him on the phone for a while, but this is y'all first couple of dates, and in the first few days he starts saying stuff that you don't like, so you kind of back off of him? Where was that? I'm an adult woman now. I'm not a teenager anymore. I know when the guy is talking the shit. I know when shit's starting to not feel right. So as an adult woman, we pull back. Even when I was 21, 22, yeah, I was still young, but I started to understand the games that guys played. So I'm not going to say that when I was over 21, I didn't get played, but I got played much less than I did when I was under when I was under 21, because you start to learn. The women that were 25, 26, by 27 years old, I knew the game that guys play. So with them, their they must have just been like weak, like those women that pimps can get, and had them out on the street hoeing and then giving their money to them. That's the only thing that I could come up with, because the average woman with sense and knowing R. Kelly's history, anybody that heard about Aaliyah, we all knew that Aaliyah was 15 and some shit was shaky with her and R. Kelly. Then you got the sex tape. So anybody that's over a certain age who went with him, they was crazy, y'all. But any all them girls that was under 18, at first, y'all, I'm not gonna lie. Years ago, when I heard the story, I heard about it, and I said to myself, now, y'all, I'm the type that always fall on the side of the victim until till they prove to me that the victim is lying. But even back then, being a young girl when all this happened 30 years ago, because I'm 54. If you take 30 years off my life, I was 24. When I heard it back then, I was like, I don't know about that. I don't think R. Kelly would do nothing like that. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. But as all these different, throughout my life as I age, and then you keep on hearing stuff about him, keep on hearing about stuff about him. My mother always taught me that when shit like that continue to happen, there's some truth in what is being said. Now, don't get me wrong. Those parents that took their kids to him, the parents were stupid. Because I don't care if my daughter was singing like Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, Whitney Houston. If I was going to take her anywhere in the music industry, it definitely wouldn't have been to R. Kelly. And if my daughter, now let me tell you how much of a mother I am. You know how when your child is underage, you have control of them? If my daughter, some kind of way, went behind my back and hooked up with R. Kelly and just said she had been gone a month or two and she came back, I me and her father would have got together if she was 16 or 17 and had the bitch, and yes, I'm calling my daughter a bitch, would have had the bitch legally put into a mental institution. I would have told them, I would have had my child committed to keep her away from him. I would have told them she need bars in her room. She need to be handcuffed to the bed. I would have made my daughter seem like the craziest bitch that I could to make sure that he didn't get her. Because y'all, when them women finally come out of that, because y'all know in the next one, that one girl that he turned into a boy, Dominique, she's gonna speak. And it's something else big that's gonna happen in the next one. But I'm gonna tell y'all what's gonna happen. When them women finally get out of that Stockholm syndrome and they get their mind back clear, because it's like they in a fucking cult, if you ask me, they are gonna be so fucking shell shocked to realize what they allow to happen to them. Because y'all, think about it, they can't be thinking clearly. Did you hear that bitch say that they had made a suicide pact, that if he went to jail or he was convicted, that they were gonna, that he had told them to swallow some pills, that they should all kill themselves? What kind of y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all, I have loved a many a man in my life. I have been a fool. You know how that song say, everybody plays a fool. But y'all, it comes a certain point in your relationship where the man is doing you so wrong that you be like, okay, you know what? I know I love him, but he ain't right for me. I gotta get my ass up out of this before I lose myself. These women have completely lost who they are. They don't forget about their families. And the one little girl, Azriel, the one that got a lot of mouth and smart mouth, I can't pronounce her first name, Azriel or whatever. She been with him so long that when she get out, she gonna need so much help. And she's so fucking fucked up. Y'all, I after I can finish watching this, I said, and I have to go to work tomorrow. I said to myself, I need a drink. You feel dirty. And when they made it clear that possibly he was having sex with Aaliyah when she was 13, y'all, I almost threw up. You know why? Because when I was 13, I had just started my little monthlies. I didn't even really understand it. I remember my friends talking about they got theirs, and you know how you like, well, when is mine coming? Then, oops, here it is. And I had to run out the bathroom and run it with my little panties around my ankles, all through the living room, dining room. My brothers done seen me. I thought I had fell and hurt myself and was running to my mother, and she was like, "Oh my God, girl, get back in the bathroom. You let your brother see you run through the house like that. All it is you done started your little monthlies." You so innocent at the age of 13. I know everybody trying to make these young girls out to be fast, and yes, a lot of them were. But along with that fastness, there's also an innocence. Think about it, y'all. If they're 13 and 14, I got pieces of clothes in my closet right now that are older than 13 years old. Things that I've held on to. I got a prom dress that if I graduated in 1983, that's how old my prom dress is. So when you're 13, You ain't only been on this earth 13 years. What do you know about life and men and the games that men can play? Hell, men is twisting grown women around their finger and have them out on the corner turning tricks. Think about what they could do with the mind of somebody who's between the ages of 12 and 18. What I say is, why are we as other black women calling them liars? This bitch is lying. Why she didn't tell that? You know what's funny, y'all? What I find, what I have found, every, I'll say out of the 10 men that I have asked, what do they think of R. Kelly? Do they think that R. Kelly is guilty of all these accusations? You know who don't believe R. Kelly? Men. 9 out of the 10 men that I know and that I work with, my brothers, my cousins, my uncles, 9 out of the 10 of them believe that he is guilty. But when I asked 10 women friends of mine, 7 of them got the what about isms, what them bitches was fast, this, that, and the other. Why is it that men are pissed with R. Kelly and they believe the allegations? Now, don't get me wrong, it's some men that don't believe it, but when I did my little survey, the majority of the men that I talked to don't believe shit he's saying, believe everything, believe that he been messing with them little girls, but women giving him a pass. Why can't we as women side until those little girls are proven that they're lying? Why are we not siding with them as women? You know who are siding with them? Our men are. Every guy that I ask, they not only tell me that they believe he guilty, but they list the reasons why. They talk about how when they were young men, how they could whip game on women, and once you how they know when they got a woman, got us and all in love with them, and how they started acting a fool. They If another man is telling us, if men are telling us that R. Kelly is guilty, why do we as black women condemn other black women when they're trying to tell their truth? See, this is why people don't tell shit, because we don't believe them. We don't even believe them until they're proven, till it's proven that they're lying. Then think about it. Why did he go and expose each one of those women one by one having sex? Of course, he has tapes of them. He filmed them. His brother just sat on there and told y'all he filmed him having sex, and then the freak bastard played it back to his brother the next day. Y'all, I don't know if y'all got siblings, but would any of y'all film your sibling having sex and then pop in the video the next night while everybody's sitting and watching it? What kind of freak shit is that? I was sitting there, I don't even want to know about my brothers or my sister having sex, let alone film it. And we in our damn 50s. I'm so sick of people giving him a pass. And something that one of them said, if there would have been justice for Aaliyah, because people keep on saying why everybody feels sorry for Aaliyah, and you're not, and you keep bringing up her name, because what they're saying is, if they had done right by Aaliyah, then maybe all of this stuff wouldn't happen. And that's why people are mad that Aaliyah's parents are not speaking out. Forget about, okay, Aaliyah been gone. Aaliyah is in a better place than all of us. But Aaliyah's story should have been told, because maybe if they wouldn't have hid it, then all these other little girls that he messed with, maybe they wouldn't have been messed with if his shit would have been brutally exposed for what it was back then. But no, y'all wanted to step to the name of love. Y'all want, oh, they trying to tear down another black man. It ain't the man trying to tear R. Kelly down. You know what's tearing R. Kelly down? His freak nasty shit. And then, y'all, I'm on a roll tonight. I guess I got about a couple more minutes in me. Then another thing that I don't like that they do. I feel sorry that R. Kelly was molested um as a young person. Y'all, I'm just gonna be honest. One of my parents is the victim of molestation by one of their step parents, and their memory of being alive, their very first memory of being alive is of being molested. They said they don't remember anything before they started being molested. Their very first memory is of being molested. They don't remember nothing else, and it went on all the way up until they were a teenager. Y'all, my parents are almost in their, well, one of them is in their 80s. And the trauma of when you've been molested follows you for the rest of your life. This parent of mine that was molested, when they talk about it, it takes them back, and their voice actually changed to a child's voice. The pain that they went through is 70, 80 years later is still with them like it just happened to them yesterday. Pedophilia, child molestation, it fucks people's lives up. And we have, as the Black community, and I include myself in it, because like I said, when I was 24 and I heard about it, I was like, oh, I wonder what's this about? I wouldn't think R. Kelly would do something like this. But we have been complicit. We have turned our heads. We have blamed the victims, and it's wrong, y'all. What is it about R. Kelly? I don't want to hear about, this is what I say when I ask this question. I don't want to hear about Elvis. Elvis wasn't fucking black girls. I don't want to hear about Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein. All them bitches they show didn't look like our little girls. I don't care about them white women. They'll take care of them. Who all else they bring up when all these different people they bring up. The reason why I don't care about them, because they weren't messing with black women, young black girls. See, just like his one brother said, the one that I think got a little sense, had this been 30 years of R. Kelly messing with little white girls, it wouldn't have went 30 years. Because if he would have messed with a 13-year-old white girl back in the 90s, his ass would have been in jail. He would have been just getting out now, 30 years later. But because we are, as black women, the, I guess, the bottom of the totem pole in the eyes of the world, don't nobody care. And then they already think we're loose, we're this, we're that. So what if them little black girls is being molested? And then our black women is feeding into it. Yeah, they was fast. They shouldn't have took their fast tails over there. Whether they was fast or not, they're still ours. Their daughters are fast, and when they're getting molested, they're white people feel sorry for them. But our little fast girls, we want to throw them away. Well, good for her. She knew what she was doing when she took a fast ass over there. That's what she get. Do y'all know I have seen comments on Facebook, um, YouTube, Twitter that say shit like that? We don't. How do we expect the rest of the world to care about our little girls if we don't care about them? We don't care. And again, and I'm going to say this before I get out of here, it's not brothers, it's us as black women. Because I'm trying to think of one black guy that I've talked to that don't think R. Kelly is guilty. Actually, y'all, I think it's been all of them. I just wanted to say 9 out of 10, but I can't think of one. I'm trying to think of any of them that I've talked to that don't think he's guilty. So my thing is this: why do brothers think he's guilty, but women don't? When who he's hurting, we were them little girls once upon a time. Y'all, I'm dreading seeing what they got coming for us tomorrow night, because, like I said, I thought that hearing the stories, but what it is, I think that tonight makes you understand the emotional impact when they said that they had to clear the fucking screening of the documentary because they received death threats. R. Kelly is not only raping them, but he's using his power to send people out. Sent that woman to that girl's mother to say something like, "Well, keep on talking. We got your daughter on the phone threatening that girl's parents, the one that he gave her herpes." So they victimizing them and re-victimizing them and re-victimizing them, and then as a black community, we're helping R. Kelly victimize these girls that already been victimized. We ain't shit sometimes, y'all. We don't even support our own people. It's sad. I gotta get out of here, y'all. I appreciate y'all listening to me, but I was just disgusted, and I sometimes just get disgusted with us because we don't stick together to protect us. Everybody shit on black women, and I'm sick and tired of it. I'm fucking sick and tired of it. I sat there tonight and watched them girls' faces and their eyes. Pain is not, you can fake and make yourself cry. You can tell a story, but when you look into them girls' eyes, you see the pain. You remember yourself at 13 and you think about, y'all, at 13. See, at 13, I was a virgin. If something like that would have happened to me 13, at 15, I was a virgin. At 17, I was a virgin. At 18, I was a virgin. If something like that would have happened to me, it would have fucked me up. You know why? Because when I was younger, no man in my family had ever hurt me. The men in my family treated us like little girls. You're cute, pulling our braids, making fun of us when we started to blossom out and, laughing and be like, "Oh, Rachel's growing up. We're going to have to beat the boys off." And they treated us like what we were, little girls. So I didn't know anything about a man hurting a little girl. But when I look in those girls' eyes, I recognize hurt. Because you know what? When I got older and I was hurt, and I looked in the mirror after a man hurt me, the same hurt that I saw in my eyes, I saw in their eyes. And any woman who's ever been hurt by a man, when you wake up the next day after that man hurt you and you look in the mirror, there's a hurt that you have in your eyes. Look at those girls' eyes when they're talking tomorrow. Any woman who's hurt, look in those eyes. And we as hurt women, we know hurt when we see it. You know, every man that I've been with or ever been with in my life have not always treated me the best. So I've gone through some things and I have my own pain. And that's why I can empathize and sympathize with another sister when she tell me that she going through something. Whether I know the backstory or if everything she's saying is 100% true. If she sit down and she talk to me and I see pain in her eyes, then I say to myself, whatever she went through, whether it's all 100% true or not, something has hurt her. And that's what I see in them women's eyes. But we all love R. Kelly. He this big star. They trying to drag him down. Blah, 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 blah. Y'all, we need to stop. Because white people protect theirs. You don't see, look at, you know what's so funny? When the last time y'all seen, did they tell a story about a little hot tail white girl? She done snuck out the house, climbed out the goddamn window when her parents sleep and ended up dead. They don't get on television when they telling her story, talking about how fast she was. They feel sorry for her because but our people, they'll say shit like, well, that's what her fast ass get. No other race of people beat up on their women like black people beat up on their own women. We our men beat up on us sometimes, and we as women beat up on each other. Watch the next time one of they little bitches and God forgive me, watch the next time one of they little bitches come up missing, then climbed out of the window. Her parents thought she was in the house, or she's online with one of them apps, and she wanders off and go meet one of these older men, and they find the bitch in the woods somewhere, fucked up. They don't get on television and talk about how fast she was. That, oh my God, Becky climbed out the window and I didn't know. They don't even bring up that the bitch was fast and left the house while her parents were asleep. They don't even bring that up. But our people do, to give him an excuse. So basically, when they do that, they are giving R. Kelly a pass for raping them. And with that, y'all, I'm out. I don't know if I'm, because when they said that, some of this stuff that they said tonight almost made me throw up, y'all. I'm just keeping it real, because I got a daughter, y'all. Now my daughter is 24, so she passed the age where R. Kelly like him. But I just, you know how you put yourself in that, when them parents was out there throwing rocks up at the window, when the one parents from the last R. Kelly one, and they went to that warehouse and they were throwing those rocks up at there, trying to get their daughter to come out. What I do is, I'm a parent. I'm a parent of a son, and I'm a parent of a daughter. And with each sex of your children, you're you're confronted with different set of problems. With my son, I wasn't worried about him. Well, he wasn't. My son was quiet. He wasn't girl crazy, but my daughter is kind of cute. And when soon as boys start noticing her, I notice a change in her. So this is what I'm saying. If R. Kelly would have came along and swept my daughter up into his world and I couldn't get her back, y'all, her father is dead. He died of pancreatic cancer. So I would have been trying to get my baby back by myself, with everybody calling my baby fast and a tramp, and that's what she get, and I shouldn't have let her go. I couldn't imagine being those parents. And your child has been pretty much put in a cult by this singer, and you can't get her back, and everybody blaming you. The pain to not have seen my child in 3 or 4 years and she ain't dead. Can y'all imagine what that must feel like? And you're thinking, wondering every day, because this is what I would be wondering as a parent. What has he done to my child that would make her stay away from me for 3 or 4 years, especially when my child hasn't been abused? She grew up in a decent home with two parents, blah, blah, blah. Because a lot of these girls had two parents. You you see what I'm saying? They had two parents living in the home. When you seeing them parents go, it's two of them. So what is it that he did to them to make them just completely not see their families for years? Y'all, it got to be horrible, because this next little girl, Dominique, is about to introduce us to him abusing them physically as well. Y'all know he was whooping them little girls' ass. He not only was controlling them, with, raping them and stuff. I think he was physically abusing them, because if you're not scared to go home, why aren't you going home then? And they said that the one girl did break away, the little pretty one, the one that he got out of college. They said that when she was running down the street, R. Kelly sent his men. They hopped in a SUV and chased that girl down and brought her back. She did try to run away. What happened when they brought her back? Did he beat her? Did he torture her? Did he put her in a room? From what I'm reading, one of them he put in a room and he didn't feed for a week. Y'all, I am 54. I have never in my life gone, first of all, a day without eating, unless by choice, let alone a fucking week. Can you imagine not eating, not being fed for a week? I mean, was he giving her water? Then putting a fucking bucket in the corner, and you got to pee in a corner? So, okay, let me just make sure that I'm understanding this for these people who still riding for R. Kelly. So, let's just say, let's put the raping aside, okay? Let's just put that aside, that he's a pedophile and he goes after young girls. So y'all think it's okay for him to lock these girls in rooms, put a bucket in. They gotta pee in the corner. They gotta knock on the floor or the wall to get his attention to get something to eat. They can't speak to their people. They've been away from their family members for 3 and 4 years, but he he's okay. Uh R. Kelly wouldn't do that. Everything that he doing to them is manipulative. Everything he's doing to them is fucking them up. When them girls come up out of that, I don't think, look at Charles Manson, them bitches that he fucked over. They still crazy. I don't think none of them is ever, the ones that's still in it, is ever probably going to live a normal life. Actually, hell, y'all, I don't really think, I think all of them will carry a certain amount of residual horror at what they allow to happen to them for the rest of their life. You can't be victimized like that and walk away with no battle scars. And for that, I can't, I have empathy for another woman who is suffering. Like if one of y'all type in here right now, Rachel, I've been through something like that. That's the story of my childhood. Do you know I will log off here and hit my knees and pray for God to give you some comfort? And I don't even know you. I've not seen your face. But other black women call them little tramps, little whores, fast bitches, and all that. Y'all, I'm done. Y'all have a good night. Take care of y'all babies. Thank you for rocking with me tonight. I just had to come on here because when I tell you I was outdone, I was outdone. And I think tomorrow when I watch that one that he turned into a boy, I think I probably will go ahead and throw up. I know once she tell her story, that if she tells what I think, because they said they believe R. Kelly go both ways. So when that little girl tells what happened, I'm a mother, y'all. I know I'm gonna be crying, and I know that through my crying, I'm gonna get worked up, and I might fucking throw up. So if I ain't back on here tomorrow when it goes off, it's probably because I'm in the bathroom on my knees in front of the toilet throwing up. Cause y'all, this is nasty. It's nasty. When I was growing up, guys like R. Kelly, we called them Chester the molester. We had guys like that in the neighborhood. But you know what? The men in our neighborhood protected us from them. They would say, "Don't go over there. I better not catch you near that house. You know that guy over there ain't right." You know? Now, if they got a recording contract, and if they got a line dance and we step into the name of love and all this bullshit, and it's the chocolate factory and the Pied Piper and all that, then we excuse him. But I bet you if this was Robert live on 125th Street or something, his ass would have been in jail years ago. I'm out, y'all. Stay safe. Happy New Year. Bye bye.